This is the new Toyota Camry, and it's a little bit like the Spice Girls. Hi, I'm Terry Halliwell. Zigga zigga ah. Let me explain. You see, the Spice Girls haven't been around in the UK for 15 years, and neither has the Camry, but they're both making a comeback, and they've got better with age. Look, there's the old Camry. Looks pretty ugly. This new one's good looking. There's the Spice Girls back in the day. I think they're all better looking now, apart from maybe Jerry. Let's start this review by talking about the Camry's design. Now, I'm really liking the look of the latest Toyotas, and this is no exception. It's got nice wide hips, cool looking rear end. I'm loving this brown metallic paint. It's super cool, as is the way the rear lights just bend around the side of the cars. Now, this is the XL version, so it comes on 18-inch alloy wheels. The entry-level design comes on 17, but they don't look that bad either. In fact, here's a quick clip of that car there. Now at the front, it's very distinctive, very Toyota-y, and it works really well. This XL also gets some LED upgrades in terms of LED fog lights and indicators, which I'll just show you now. Look, there they are, snazzy, eh? Not really worth upgrading for, though, I wouldn't say. Do you know what? I quite like the interior design of this car. It's definitely unique, and there's quite a lot going on in terms of swooshes and shapes and stuff like that. Quality is a bit mixed though. So it's like different parts of the interior were built by different people, and they never talked to each other, and they clearly had different standards. So the guy responsible for the materials on the dash and the doors and stuff obviously has very high standards. However, the guy responsible for these bits down here, I mean, look at that, and this, look, this centre console clearly had low standards. I mean, look, that's terrible, isn't it? I mean, I know Toyotas will not break, but perceived quality just makes you feel good about yourself, and that's why the Germans do so well. Still, the damping of the controls are quite nice, and there's some touches that I do enjoy, like this effect here and up here as well. I like it, though the pattern does sort of remind me of the eyes of a horsefly, so it's freaking me out a bit. What's also freaking me out a bit are the holes here on the speakers. It's really triggering my trypophobia. You don't know what that is, do you? Look it up. Then someone be kind enough to post it in the comments so others can see. Now, one thing that does do my head in though is this area here. So there's a lot of black plastic and quite a small screen. And that brings me on to this car's specs. The Camry range kicks off with the design, and that includes an infotainment system with inbuilt satellite navigation, another screen between the two analog dials, and dual zone climate control. It also has heated seats, keyless entry, and fully automated cruise control, which will use radar to keep you a safe distance from the car in front and steer to prevent you weaving out of your lane. The only other trim level is this range-topping XL, and it includes an auto-dimming rear view mirror, blind spot monitoring, rear cross-traffic alert, and some shiny bits of trim. Right, and let's talk about that infotainment system. So not only is the screen quite small, but the resolution is low. At least it's colourful though, eh? Also, the menus are quite well laid out, and there's huge physical shortcut buttons that are dead easy to hit while driving. You do have some voice commands as well, but they're really quite limited. Also, the sat-nav is only okay, and inputting a destination is quite fiddly. The screen is quite laggy on the map as well, which is annoying. What's also annoying is that digital driver's display is pretty useless. It doesn't really show that much information, really, just a bit of trip stuff. So let's carry on with the interior of this and the ergonomics. So I like the fact you have electric operation for the steering wheel, and there's plenty of adjustment in the driver's seat as well. It doesn't matter if you're big or small, you'll be able to get comfy, and these seats are super comfy. I actually love Toyota seats, very, very nice. Also, sometimes Toyotas can have a weird layout of buttons, so they're just in random places. This is much better. Things are in a sensible position, so dead easy to figure out where they are. And because you've got physical buttons, it may make it look a little bit like it's from the 90s, but it's dead easy to just operate stuff while you're driving rather than having to do everything through a touchscreen like you do in an Audi. Now, in terms of practicality, it's actually pretty good. So look at this, door bins. They don't look that big, but that's a litre bottle, and you can fit that in there, no problem at all. You've got some cup holders here, which can cope with various sizes of coffee cups like that, so you won't end up knocking the lid off smaller ones. Love this feature. You have a wireless charging pad there, and you can slide it backwards out the way, so your phone doesn't distract you, and you get an extra bit of storage down there as well. I think that's a brilliant idea, and then there's some charging points there as well. Look, there's your 12 volt. Under here, you've got some more room, and the glove box, that's a decent size as well. The Camry is really practical here in the back seat. So as you can see, I've got plenty of room. This rear seat is super comfy. It's nicely reclined, although you can actually recline it further, but you don't need to. The seat base is long, so you get lots of under thigh support. loads of knee room. I mean, look at that, there's tons of it. Wish I could just slide my feet a little bit further under the seat in front, but it's not too bad. Headroom is a little bit on the tight side though. That's probably the only minor issue. Want to check something else out as well. Look at this, go, 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 go. Yes! They go all the way down so you can lean out, and I've just hit my head on there. That highlights another problem. Let's say you've got 3 people in the back at once. This middle seat is actually all right and headroom's just about okay here, but people in the out seats get pushed outwards slightly because the body is a bit narrow, and then they end up hitting their head on there, just like I did a moment ago while trying to do a demonstration to you guys. Another thing I'm not so keen about is this, the hump in the floor, but it's not that big a deal because the footwells are big, so 3 people can easily have enough space for their feet. Rest of the practicality is okay, so look at that. Well, that just flops down. Classic Toyota random build quality again. And this as well, that is such a cheap flat, but that's handy. Look there, you can keep your drinks in there. There's also enough space in the door bins for 2 bottles. And check this out as well, you get marsupial style pouches in the seat backs. Yeah, and then there's some charging points there for your mobile devices. Right guys, let's talk about the Camrys Boot. So being a saloon, it's not as practical as a hatchback, but you do have quite a wide opening for this kind of car. There isn't too much of a low lip either, so you can get suitcases in there quite easily. Look at that, absolutely knackered suitcases. It's probably something to do with the way I treat them. So it's a bit of a hit and miss affair, this boot. The actual size is reasonable. You can fit quite a lot of stuff in it. And there's some features I like as well. Not the fact that you've got underfloor storage, because really there's not much at all. It's things like this, look, the way you can just hook that up on there like that. Then there's some other things that are less cool. See that? Then look at this. These are supposed to be hooks to hang things off, but they're a little bit flimsy. And then the tie-down hooks are just things here, which once again are flimsy. Don't know what it is with Toyota. Some things are good, some things are really not so good. Like this. To fold down the rear seats, pull that like that. And nothing happens, you have to go around to lower them. And it's easy enough to do, I guess, but the opening isn't all that huge. And you're probably wondering just how much stuff can you fit in this car's boot. With those seats folded down, you can carry a bike in the car, but you will have to remove the front wheel, and it's quite tough to squeeze it through that narrow opening to get into the back seat area. With the seats back in place, you can carry 2 large suitcases and 2 small suitcases inside the boot. Then there's just enough space left to carry a set of golf clubs and a soft bag. If it's boxes you want to carry, there's room for 8 small boxes, but unfortunately, larger boxes will not go through that opening. And that brings me on to 5 annoying things about the Toyota Camry. In the UK, the Camry is not available with Android Auto nor Apple CarPlay until sometime in 2020. Thanks for that, Toyota. Whenever you fold the seat backs down and put them back up, the central armrest just flops out. The auto door locks are super annoying, and you can't just get out if you're the passenger by double tugging, which sounds a bit rude. You have to flick this and then you can get out. It's just, why the extra step, Toyota? The seat belt for the central passenger doesn't really retract the full way, so it just kind of dangles there like an annoying droopy thing. The car has this weird aftermarket tuning morons wider exhaust surround, which annoyingly passes the CarWow stick of truth, but it won't foil the bottle of truth. Oh no, no, we've rumbled your game, Toyota. It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car. The Camry has a really clever air conditioning system, so as well as like blowing out air, it also releases ions which are surrounded by tiny water molecules, and they effectively moisturise your skin to help keep you looking younger. Maybe I should buy myself a Camry. This car comes with a 2,628,000 minute warranty, also known as 5 years. The car's hybrid system uses special compact batteries which are small enough to fit under the seat so they don't eat into boot space. This engine has a thermal efficiency of 41%, which probably means nothing to you, but it is better than any other road car. And what that means is it's better at converting fuel into forward motion rather than just wasting it as heat. Toyota has fitted an extra layer of special sound insulating material throughout the entire car to keep it nice and quiet inside, and so that you don't hear annoying noises too much from the outside. There's only one version of the Camry available in the UK. It's the hybrid, which has a 2.5 litre petrol engine mated to an electric motor for a combined 218 horsepower, which is good for 0 to 60 in 8.3 seconds, which isn't terrible. The good news is, if you fit this car with a 17-inch wheels, it will emit less than 100 grams per kilometre of carbon dioxide, making it very tax efficient. Winner! This Toyota Camry is lovely to drive in town. So the suspension is super soft over potholes and speed humps, and you can actually drive it around on electric power alone for quite some time if you want to. Yeah, there's even an EV mode which locks it. But if you put your foot down or try to accelerate enthusiastically, the petrol engine soon kicks in and you do hear it a little bit. But it's quite a smooth transition. Well, it's not so smooth though, the brakes, so you touch them and it's like, they're a little bit jerky. The steering is nice and light, and the turning circle is okay. It's not the best in the world, but it's not bad. You will be able to get round mini roundabouts and do U-turns if you need to. The automatic gearbox really helps in town as well, especially when you're doing manoeuvres and stuff. It's actually quite smooth at low speeds. For instance, I'm going to park the car now, and it's just so much simpler than having to mess around with a clutch and gear selector. So there we go, look, just dead easy to actually park into space because you've got really good all-round visibility. The dash is quite low, the pillars aren't too fat, so you can see exactly what's going on, and the camera helps out as well, so I like it for that. All done and dusted. The only problem is that I wish that wing mirror would decrease slightly so you could see where you are in relation to the curb so you don't scratch your alloys. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's go drive it somewhere else. The Camry is a pretty good car for long distance journeys because on the motorway it's reasonably quiet. Well, it is until you put your foot down, then you get that droning noise from the engine because of the way the CVT gearbox keeps the revs at a constant rate. However, the acceleration is pretty decent. That was 50 to 70 and it's pretty quick to do that. The only problem is that will affect your economy, so don't do it too often because this is an economical car. So I'm averaging 51 miles per gallon, which is really, really good. Makes it a great alternative to a diesel if you don't want a diesel car. Where this car does start to fall down though is on a twisty road because it's a bit like making an old man run through an obstacle course. It's just not great. I have a sports mode and when you press it, it doesn't seem to do anything besides make a little red strip appear down there on the digital display. Yeah. Also, you can change gears yourself and there's like 6 different gears to choose from, but it doesn't feel like a normal gearbox because it's just like an artificial system created by that CVT system. So yeah, you don't bother with that. You're best just chilling out and taking it easy because if you want your big family car to actually be good on a twisty road, you probably want something like a Mazda 6. And for now though, we're going to run wide. Whoa. Oh, didn't like that at all. We're going to run wide in the Camry. Yeah, calm down, Matt. Calm down. It's a Toyota. Take it easy. So then, what's my final verdict on the new Toyota Camry? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I think if you want a practical family car that's very economical, yet isn't a diesel and is reliable, you should go ahead and buy it. But if you don't really, and you just want a car that's big and practical and useful and decent to drive, you should probably just consider it because while it is good, there are plenty of other alternatives which are better value for money.